What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Thursday. Now, let's start off today's show with something very extreme. So, unfortunately, as we all know, Jimmy Kimmel Live has been pulled off the air from ABC indefinitely due to some comments about the Charlie Kirk shooting. Well, to be specific here, Disney's ABC is taking Jimmy Kimmel's late night talk show off the air indefinitely amid public pressure from FCC Chair Brendan Carr and ABC affiliates. So the controversy stems from Kimmel's comments from his Monday night monologue about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer. So the stunning and sudden decision shocked Hollywood and surprised the show's staff. Kimmel has not yet commented on the suspension. So, anywho, apparently what happened here is that Brendan Carr is an attorney who has worked for the FCC for a while now, and he became a commissioner appointed by Trump in 2017, and then upon Trump's re-election, the then president-elect chose him to chair the regulatory agency. Okay. So this is what I have to say about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is very ridiculous and very interesting that this show, the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, got pulled off the air indefinitely, all because of Jimmy Kimmel's honest opinions about the whole entire Charlie Kirk shooting. Because in reality, his show would have never and should have never gotten pulled off the air, because freedom of speech is definitely important, and freedom of speech is definitely a privilege here in the United States of America. Okay, that is something that the right should know. That is something that the left should know. That is something that everybody should know. Okay, very interesting how the chair of the FCC, the one that was in charge of pulling off this show off the air, was and is a Trump supporter. Okay, so that could be the main reason to why this whole entire show got pulled off the air. And you know what? This man, I believe, is the one that should step down from being the chair of the FCC. He should be the one that should be in trouble for basically getting people fired just because of their own freedom of speeches here. Okay, like Jimmy Kimmel didn't do anything wrong here. I believe that, by the way, what this person did towards the poor man, Jimmy Kimmel, is also something that is a huge loss for the ABC company, because the ABC company is going to be losing a lot of ratings. The ABC company is going to be losing a lot of money now that Jimmy Kimmel is off the air, which, by the way, that show was on for 22 years, okay, because of how successful and how amazing that show was. And it's just so scary now that nowadays you can't say something that is really about your opinion. You can't say something that you feel will empower someone, that you feel should be listened by someone, because of the fact that now you're going to get silenced for it. And that's not fair. Okay, so I believe that Jimmy Kimmel, I believe, is going to be back on ABC one way or the other, because there's going to be a lot of these Jimmy Kimmel fans out and about striking and protesting to bring back that man on ABC. And there's going to be a lot of politicians, especially, intervening in all of this. And they're going to say, you know what? Bring back Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is amazing. Jimmy Kimmel is the best. I mean, we already have former President Obama speak about this. We already have the California Governor Gavin Newsom speak about this. And they are definitely not happy about the fact that Jimmy Kimmel is off the air. So we already have a bunch of huge people over here in support that they are against all of this. Okay, and now I believe the only late night hosts that we have left are Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon. Now, I'm afraid that they're going to get rid of Jimmy Fallon next. They're going to get rid of Seth Meyers next, because of the fact that now Trump is really seeming to be that type of monster that now he wants to get rid of all of these liberal, amazing shows that are on TV. Like, leave them alone. It's freedom of speech. And also, we really feel like, you know, at the end of the day, we need to, watch our shows at night and enjoy ourselves and, have a laugh because, I mean, at the end of the day, these shows are amazing. They're funny and they're very entertaining. Okay, but that's something that Trump doesn't freaking understand because the man is old, miserable, and he's a horrible president and a horrible person. And I believe that the only person that should be fired here is Trump from being the president of the United States. Okay, we need somebody that actually understands what the true meaning of freedom of speech is, and somebody that is leaving everybody alone, and somebody that is also making sure that America is great again, like he says. Okay, that is what I have to say about this. So it really angers me, though, that this is already going too far now, where now freedom of speech is definitely not a thing anymore. Okay, and apparently a president like Trump thinks that they have the authority to be controlling our lives, basically, with what he has been doing now. Okay, first it's Stephen Colbert, now it's Jimmy Kimmel. This is so darn scary. This is so darn freaking scary. Like, whoa. But anyways, I really hope and I really pray that things go out well for Jimmy Kimmel. And you know what? If ABC doesn't want to bring back Jimmy Kimmel, then it might as well be CBS. It might as well be NBC. So, I don't know. But this is insanity in all freaking levels. All right. Now, on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about The View. So, The View is silent on Jimmy Kimmel's suspension and fans react with anger. Alright, so apparently, this is what I have to say about this. I believe that the reason to why Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, Alyssa Farah Griffin, and Joy Behar were pretty silent about the whole entire Jimmy Kimmel situation this morning on their show is because they don't want to get in trouble. Because they are in the same network that Jimmy Kimmel got suspended from. And they definitely don't want to get suspended either. Okay? Like, yes, I know that they are well known for speaking against Trump and for speaking against the conservatives and so forth, but they were like, okay, well, I believe that now it's definitely going to be more than possible that they're definitely going to suspend us if we're going to be speaking against this, and they're going to make us look like we are the bullies and we are the bad people that deserve to get pulled off the air and so forth. And that is definitely, in my opinion, unfair if that were to even happen, by the way. And I believe that they are going to address this situation, but they're going to address it in a different way, or maybe they're going to talk about it in an interview that they're going to have maybe one day, or maybe they're going to talk about it in their little podcast that they have, which is Behind the Table, or maybe they're going to talk about it in other ways where they are being very cautious and they are making sure that their jobs are not going to get taken away. Okay, so I completely understand where they are coming from, but yes, it really does upset me that they didn't say anything about the fact that Jimmy Kimmel got pulled off the air, because I do definitely believe that everybody needs to address this whole entire situation because of the fact that we really need to put a stop to jobs being taken away, all because freedom of speech is being involved, just like what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. And we also need to, basically address the fact that we need to bring back Jimmy Kimmel on the air for once and for all. So I think that is definitely something that needs to be addressed. But anyways, I do know for a fact, though, that Whoopi Goldberg did get in trouble several times in the past on The View, especially that one time when she was speaking against, I believe, the Jews, I think, way back in like 2022 or 2023. And she got like suspended for like 2 weeks, I believe, from the show. And then I believe Joy Behar has gotten in trouble for other stuff as well, and jokes that she has made as well. And so I really do, definitely even more understand after hearing those things from Joy and Whoopi as to why, like I said, this show ended up deciding to step that issue aside and just, address other things instead. And I also believe here that It's also very awkward too at the same time, just having to watch The View and expect these ladies to address the whole entire situation on what's going on with Jimmy Kimmel, especially because, there's a bunch of shows right now and a bunch of articles right now talking about what happened with Jimmy Kimmel's show. And then the first thing that you see is that Whoopi and Joy and the rest of the hosts are talking about different things that are definitely far from what is going on right now with Jimmy Kimmel, and then you're like, what in the world, huh? Are we watching a live episode of The View? Are we watching a pre-taped episode? Because this is not making any sense at all, that none of the Jimmy Kimmel stuff is being addressed at all. And, to me, it could also be, a loss of ratings too, that they are not really talking about the whole entire Jimmy Kimmel thing, because, since a lot of people are upset that these women are not talking about what's going on with Jimmy Kimmel, chances are people are gonna, tune to a different channel and not watch The View. So, yeah, it's insanity, I know. But anyways, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Brigitte Macron and Candace Owens. So there is a lawsuit going on in between Brigitte Macron and Candace Owens, and it is pretty intense. Well, France's First Lady Brigitte Macron is set to present evidence, both photographic and scientific, that proves she's a woman as part of her defamation lawsuit against Candace Owens. So, Macron's attorney, Tom Clare, shed insight into Brigitte and French President Emmanuel Macron's legal strategy ahead of their face-off in a U.S. court with the conservative influencer. So, Clare, who spoke on the BBC's Fame Under Fire podcast, said the power couple will have expert testimony as part of their strategy, which will be scientific in nature and include pictures of Brigitte pregnant with their children. Okay, so BBC quotes Claire, "It is incredibly upsetting to think that you have to go and subject yourself to put this type of proof forward. It is a process that she will have to subject herself to in a very public way, but she's willing to do it. She is firmly resolved to do what it takes to set the record straight." Okay, so responding to today's news, Candace posted on X claiming Brigitte's never sued anyone for calling her male because she is one. Her lawyers have filed the motion to dismiss the claim, The Guardian reports. Okay, so remember, Brigitte and Emmanuel slapped Owens with the defamation lawsuit in July after the influencer repeatedly alleged the First Lady was born male. Owens once went as far as to say she'd stake my entire professional reputation on this accusation, and the Macrons called Owens bluff, however, and accused her of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers. Okay, so Brigitte previously sued two other women for making similar claims in 2021. She won the suit, but it was overturned on appeal, and BM is still fighting the case in France's highest appeals court. And by BM, I mean Brigitte Macron. Okay. So this is really insane, ladies and gentlemen, that this lawsuit is going on in between Brigitte Macron and Candace Owens, because I think that it is about damn time that somebody gets to be putting Candace Owens' behind in her place. Okay, because I am so sick and tired of hearing this woman say a bunch of hateful and stupid things all over social media, because she is nothing but a bully. She is nothing but a villain, and I believe that she's also the type of person that plays the victim all the time whenever somebody says something against her, and then she goes off and attacks you in return, instead of admitting to her own mistakes and be like, you know what, I need to quit attacking everybody. I need to stop attacking especially the people that are opposed to my own political views for once and for all. And to me, it's so freaking sad that this woman, by the way, she is supposed to be an influencer that is spreading a bunch of positive messages all over social media, and she's doing the opposite from that. And to me, it's even dangerous that she's doing all of this, because the only thing that she's creating is for more people to hate on her and hate on her and hate on her. And it's really sad, by the way, that a woman, by the way, is basically criticizing and judging and being very evil towards another woman, basically, by saying that Brigitte Macron is not really a female and that she's actually a male and so forth, when I believe that the person that deserves to have have glasses here is the one and only Candace Owens, because she really needs to see well for herself that Brigitte Macron actually looks like a woman, and that she has the body of a woman, and she's married to a man, and that at the end of the day she even talks like a woman too. Okay, like, what does Candace Owens want? Does Candace Owens want for Brigitte Macron to, I don't know, show her birth certificate maybe, where it proves that she is actually a female? Or what is going on here? Wow. You know what? I think Brigitte Macron is for sure going to win this lawsuit, and she is going to win it big time. And once Brigitte Macron wins this lawsuit, Candace Owens is going to continue to get all ranty, all feisty, and she's going to try to overturn the whole entire lawsuit maybe, and she's going to, do a bunch of other crazy things. It's going to be insanity, but at the end of the day, she's going to lose. Brigitte Macron's going to win. That I can tell you. And you know what? There's one thing for sure, that I believe that Candace Owens has this thing where she loves to be making up a bunch of stuff. Most of it because of the attention, but also because she, in her head, she believes that a lot of people, especially the people that, opposed to her own political views, are the people that are wrong in all levels, and she's correct in all levels because she is a certain political party. Now, I'm not trying to say if Brigitte Macron is opposing Candace Owens' views, because I'm not sure what Brigitte Macron's views are specifically, but what I can tell you though is that Brigitte Macron is somebody that is to be respected. She's somebody that might be part of the Liberal Party in a way over in France, because maybe she is a liberal over in France, and maybe she is about the Liberal Party here in America as well. Maybe, because I think I have heard some things about her political views and so forth, I think. So that could maybe be the reason to why, like I said, that Candace Owens is over here going against this woman. It's very nasty, very rude. And that is all I have to say about this. Now, on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about Sam Asghari. So Sam Asghari isn't ruling out getting married again. In fact, he's about ready to say "give me more" to new girlfriend Brooke Irvine. So TMZ caught up with Britney Spears' ex-husband out and about in West Hollywood yesterday, where he made it clear his past divorce won't stop him from getting down on one knee in the future. So, as Sam told TMZ, he is thinking seriously about his future and that he sees Brooke by his side. Brooke, who joined Sam for his outing, and we who giggled when her boo offered up a coy maybe when asked about a possible engagement. So while Brooke stayed tight-lipped on her potential as the future Mrs. Asghari, Sam confirmed they've had conversations about the relationship trajectory. So he added life is about just living and enjoying it. So speaking of the previous Mrs. Asghari, Sam addressed Brit's recent shade when she called their past nuptials a distraction. And Sam didn't seem bothered one bit by the dig. Instead, he thought it was a good thing to be distracting. It's certainly better than being called boring. Okay, so this is really insane, man, that Sam Asghari has moved on from Britney Spears and now he is definitely now with somebody else. I mean, good for him. He deserves to live his own life, but I'm hoping that he's not going to be taking out money from the woman, just like he took out money from Britney Spears when he was divorcing Britney Spears, because that's not right in my opinion. And I'm hoping that he gets to last with Brooke Irvine because, I believe that a marriage is to last. I don't think that a marriage should be something that is temporary, and it should be something like changing underwear. Okay, and he's young and he's handsome, and of course it's actually very obvious in my opinion that he now has another girl, and he is also very muscular, and he seems happier than ever when he got caught up with TMZ, by the way. He seems like he had nothing to hide, and he seems like nothing ever happened to him in the past, and his hair is longer now, and he's all smiles, and it's like whatever to him now. And honestly, life is too short anyways to be living very sad about the past and to be traumatized about the past and so forth. So I mean, I completely understand as to why he was looking very happy and all smiles. And I'm hoping, by the way, that this Brooke Irvine person will really, treat Sam Asghari well, and there will actually be, a connection and everything and so forth. And I mean, personally, if Brooke Irvine, by the way, is somebody that is around his age, which I'm kind of getting the feeling that she probably is, maybe, hopefully, then good for him. I believe that there's going to be a functionality here. But I believe, honestly, that there was no functionality in between him and Britney Spears. First of all, because Britney Spears, she has gone through so much with her damn life, with her own damn family, abusing her financially and so forth. And he was just, enough with all of that drama. But of course, let's remember that he was there for her when Britney Spears was going through the whole entire conservatorship battle way back in like 2021. But he, yet again, was so sick and tired of all of that. And, of course, let's also remember, too, that Britney Spears is like 13 years older than him. And, there's just that conflict right there where it's just too much for a younger dude to be dealing with an older woman's issues and, having to deal with, an older woman's, habits and an older woman's points of views and so forth, because Britney Spears, let's remember that she's already in her 40s, and Sam Asghari, he's only 31, and so that's also something to acknowledge for as to why I believe the whole entire marriage didn't really last at all. And that's the reason to why I believe it would be the best thing ever that, like I said, Sam Asghari gets to be with the woman around his age, and that's it. So, anywho, let's just see what happens here with this Brooke Irvine chick and him. Okay, but anyways, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.